Nathan Hartnett from ecommerceuncovered.com here. I thought today we'd talk about goals and goal setting and that kind of thing. Now, I'm not going to go full on into why you should write them down every day and read them out loud and all that kind of stuff. It's all good, but there are plenty of guys like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, heaps of guys out there who have talked about it, and you can find their videos on YouTube and they do a much better job than I can. What I did want to raise though is the idea of figuring out where you want to be so you can figure out what you need to do to get there. So, for example, I was talking to someone recently and I asked them what their goal was with e-commerce. You know, they got an e-commerce site going, and they said basically they had a certain time frame by which time they would like to not have to work in their job anymore, be able to quit their job and have enough money to be able to do the things that they wanted to do. So I said, that's great, that's perfect. So how much, what's your figure? You know, how much do you need per week or per month to achieve that goal? And they kind of looked at me and said, oh, not really sure. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's the first thing that you should do, is go and figure it out. So to do that, some people call this, for example, if you've read the 4-Hour Work Week, you'll understand what a dreamline is and how you basically figure out what your ideal lifestyle is, how much that's going to cost on a cash perspective, and then you can figure out, okay, well, I need $2,000 a week or whatever the figure is to be able to achieve my dream lifestyle, and that's what I'm working towards. Our good friend Beck from DreamlineDiary.com, this is definitely in her wheelhouse. She's always onto me to keep updating our dreamlines, because it really is something that changes over time. You know, it's worth doing every 6 months or so, at least. And just figuring out, okay, the goals that you had, you know, the goals that we had a year ago are very different from the goals that we have now, and I'm sure in a year's time, our goals and the lifestyle that we're looking for will change again. So it's really important to get down to your dollar figure. The reason for this is you don't know exactly, if you're saying, okay, in 5 years I need $2,000 a week coming in, you really need to be able to find yourself a business model that's actually capable of achieving that. You know, I think one of the dangers that people get into is they compare a business to a job in so many different ways, and one bad way that they do that affects your dreamline is tax. We'll talk about that in a second. But the other way is business is such a broad term. Like, it's not like you a dentist or a doctor or a business person. I mean, when you start a business, you could start a cafe, a restaurant, you could start an e-commerce business, you could start an Amazon business, you could start, you know, so many different kinds, an affiliate marketing business. So you really need to try to get as clear an understanding as you can. I know it's not always easy right from the word go, but as much as you can, try to figure out, okay, if I'm going to start, in our case, an e-commerce business, it needs to have enough searches, it needs to have enough profitability for you to be able to go, yes, this business is capable of actually achieving the income that I need to then live the life that I want to lead. And to be honest, it's amazing how many people don't do that. And of course that will evolve as our dreamline has changed over the years, and our goals have changed. We have to start, Tess and I have to start thinking bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's a wonderful thing. Thinking bigger gets you outside of your comfort zone, and it's something that we never want to stop doing. So find out your figure. Well, first of all, write down what your goals are and what your lifestyle is going to look like and when you want to achieve it by, and find out exactly how much on a cash basis that's going to cost you. And then work backwards from there and figure out what business model can actually achieve that for you. One person we did that with came back with a figure, but they had based that figure, they had looked at the tax rates, which is good, but they looked at personal income tax rates. One thing we found, because we run 2 separate companies, is that because we can income split and we have our car is in the company, and we have a lot of other things within our companies, that the amount of personal tax that we pay is very minimal. So if you're looking at personal income tax rates, you might come up with your dreamline, let's say, of, okay, it might cost you, you're thinking it's going to cost you $2,500 a week. Well, in actual fact, you might only need to get $2,000 or $1,900 a week to actually achieve the income that you want when you're running your own companies. Now, tax is something that will come down to your own personal unique situation. So many different factors can affect it, whether you're single, whether you're a couple that you can split incomes between, whether you're in the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Everybody's got different tax laws. So it's not something that I can really get into too much, but all I would suggest is have a little bit of a look into it yourself, because there are two things that can happen with dreamlining. One is you figure out, okay, if you want to drive a Lamborghini or something like that, it may not cost you as much as you think, particularly when you get it down into a cash flow perspective. And number two, because you're doing it through hopefully a company or your own business structure, you may not have to earn as much as you think as well. So it can actually be really, once you get down to the nitty-gritty of it and start realizing what an amazing lifestyle you can live for a lot less income than you think, then you can start looking at what businesses can achieve that for you. So that's it. Make sure you write those goals down as well, but get that figure and start doing a little bit of research into the tax side of things and structure side of things as well. It can be very confusing, I know that, but it's very rewarding and it's part of your financial education. So if you're going to get into business, you need to know this stuff. Of course, having a great professional that can help explain it to you and help go through that has been for us very, very beneficial. But we're always a believer in at least getting an 80% understanding yourself of how it all works, even if that takes you a while to do. Thanks very much. I hope you got something out of this, and see you next time.